This project is called Shapes in Illustrator. This is kind of like more the introduction to the differences in Photoshop and Illustrator. So this is what it looked like when you're finished. So I have this cool slide to talk about the differences. So Illustrator uses lines and shapes. You can think of like using math, like little points, and the lines are connecting the points. So using math. And in Photoshop, it's just made up of pixels, so little tiny squares of color that make up your image. Um, and then also Illustrator uses a fill and a stroke. So Photoshop is kind of similar to a foreground background thing, but I'll talk about that on the assignment. And you can insert an image file like so a Photoshop file or PNG to Illustrator. Now they are similar. They both have layers here. They both have swatches. So again, we'll be using a lot of times in Illustrator instead of using the random color picker, you can actually use swatches. It's a lot faster way to kind of use the color that you want to use repeatedly. So I'll minimize that for a minute and I'll get you started in Adobe Creative Cloud. And if it's not opening or if it's giving you some kind of problem or issue, then give my attention and let me know. So I'm just going to open up Illustrator. And I'm just going to open up a new file. You can see I've actually practiced a few times. New file, and these are presets here. So like if you want to do a graphic for the web or for mobile, so we actually choose print here. So it's going to be letter, but you want to change it to inches and 8.5 by 11. Make sure it's portrait and CMYK and 300 PPI, which stands for like high quality. So and you click create. This is called an artboard. The white blank sheet there is called an artboard. You can have multiple artboards in Illustrator, but for this project, we'll just stay with one. Okay. To make sure you have these presets, these all be the same every time we do this. The Essentials workspace should be Essential Classic, so that means you have the different options here. Your layers, your layers panels options should be set to medium. So right here on medium. And then you click on view. Make sure your smart guys are checked and all the rest of these are unchecked. Okay. Then we're just going to learn them. A lot of times Illustrator you're using shapes. So in Photoshop you're using different images, but in Illustrator you're using like shapes and lines and stuff like that. So we're going to actually be using shapes. To start off, we have like the fill and the stroke. So like the shape, you think of like the shape. The outline of the shape is your stroke, and the inside color of your shape is called the fill. So we can actually toggle these back and forth. So which one of them we want to change is actually in front, and that's where we can change the color. So we're starting off with a rectangle. We're going to actually draw a rectangle out here like this. And it's just white, but right now we actually want to change the color. So first off, we want to do is stroke to be up to 10. And we want to change the stroke now. That's the stroke is in front. And we want to change it to a green. So a green. We want to change the fill color, so the inside color, to a red. So it's a red color here. So now we're going to create another rectangle. But this time we hold down the shift key to create a perfect square. So drag it out and hold down the shift key. It's just going to create a perfect square here. Now this object, we want to change the stroke to a black. So I just click on black because it's kind of like you can actually use that swatches here or the swatches there, and that's a black. And then the fill color, we want it to be a blue. So again, the swatches here, you can choose your own color there, but these swatches are going to be a lot faster. So there's a blue. Now we're going to actually hold it down and grab the ellipse tool, and you're going to drag out ellipse. So it remains the same kind of things, but we want to change that. So we're going to leave the stroke black, but we want to choose a fill and be like an orange color here. And then I'm going to choose the ellipse tool again. And this time I'm going to drag it out, but I'm holding on the shift key while I'm drawing. It creates a perfect circle here. So I'll go my mouse first and then the shift key. And this one I want to change inside fill color to a gradient. We want to change it to a red, orange, yellow, sorry. And this thing to be a linear gradient it starts with, okay? And now we're going to do another one. So again, like hold down the shift key and draw a perfect circle. And this one, I want the gradient to be a radial gradient. You see, like it's going from the center out. It's a radial gradient, so it looks a little different here. Now I'm actually going to hold it down and grab the polygon tool. So I'm going to start dragging this out, and if I use the up and down arrow keys, I increase or decrease the number of sides. So I'm just going to go to 5, and hold the shift key down, and it kind of makes me create a shape that's kind of up and down because it's not rotated at all. So I'm going to move that down here. And this one, I want to bring the stroke down to 5, right? So bring it down to 5. I want this, the stroke here, instead of black, I want to change it to a brown. So just a brown. And then the fill color, I want it to be, this is more of a gradient. So like when you choose swatches here, you can choose these swatch libraries here. And this will be a gradient here. And when I choose metals, and this little palette pulls out, and I want to choose a copier gradient there. Okay, so I'm moving this over for a minute. Now I want to create another polygon, but I'm going to create. So I'm going to go all the way down to a triangle. So I'm going to hold the shift key down, and I go let go of my mouse, and then shift key, and then I can move that triangle where I want it to go. The inside color, the fill color, I want it to be a steel radial, okay, for the inside, and then the outside color, the stroke here, I'm going to change that to a gray. So just a gray here. Now I'm going to create another polygon. So this one, move the sides up to just 6. So it's kind of like a stop sign. And this, hold the shift key down, and it creates a straight up and down kind of icon there. So move it there where I want to. The stroke color needs to be a blue. So I'm just showing you I can change the stroke and the fill to whatever you want. The fill color, you need to change to a red for this tutorial. And the last thing we're going to do is go down to the star here. And I'm going to actually click, and I'm dragging out the star here, and up and down arrows increase or decrease the number of points. So I'm going to go all the way down to 3. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'll have a 10-sided shape here. Okay, I'm going to, my stroke color needs to be in front. I can just change that to a green. So it should be a green here. And then the fill color, sorry, mouse. Fill color, I want to go back to the swatches library, and I want to go down to patterns. This should be a nature, and this should be animal skins. So it comes up here like this, just like next to our metals, and this should be a peacock pattern inside there. And the last thing I want to do is I want to give it a name. So I click on my text and type in my name. You would type in your name. Yes. And then I can click on the move tool, which is the black arrow tool. Click on the move tool, and I can change the size of that to maybe say like it's 40. It's good. And then I want to change the font. So maybe make this, this extra bold. I can move that. I can move things around where we have to. So we have space of that. So maybe around here. And then this thing, I have the option to the stroke and the fill as well in my text. So you have more control over your text. And so that's why I prefer creating text in Illustrator. So again, my fill color is going to be black, but I want to change that. I want to swap it around. So fill color needs to be black up here. And then the stroke color, the fill color, the inside color, I want it to be a yellow. Yeah, like this. So then I can actually control the stroke size, like if I want to make it larger here, but I would just move it down to 1. Okay. And then I'm going to go back, and now I'm going to actually save that. So I click on Save As to my computer, and I'll just save again, Shapes and Illustrator. Yeah, like Shapes and Illustrator. Okay. Now I click on Save, and it saves it to my downloads there. And now I'm going to go back to Canvas. So I'm going to minimize this, right? And then I'm going to go back to my Canvas kind of thing here. So I'm going to go back to Canvas. Then I can click on, so you can go through week 5 here and which day you're working with, or you can go to Module Saver. Go to that assignment, which is the Shapes and Illustrator. This is a tutorial, Illustrator tutorials, and click on the Shapes and Illustrator. Then I can click on my Start assignment. Like over here, it'll be the video that I'm creating. So click on Start assignment and Submit assignment. Then, I'm sorry, you have to click Upload. Choose the file, now Shapes and Illustrator that I just created here, and click Open, and then Submit, and that's submitted there. So that's like in math class, like doing a worksheet, but then turning it into your teacher to like grade. Okay, thanks for watching.